There's, from an accounting point of view, there's always that one, do you work for us or for HMRC? And you have to say, there shouldn't be any difference.
Hmm.
We're not here to work for HMRC. We're here to make sure that your tax is correct. That to me straight away says you're hiding something that HMRC doesn't want to see.
Yeah. Nicola, welcome to the Director First podcast. I'm really grateful that you've come down here today to have a natter with us.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, question number one. You talk about a single book changing the way you felt about smoking. You essentially stopped smoking, and you've used the information that you got in that book in your business to essentially fix the thinking of business people. I got that out without spitting my teeth out. And it's helped you build the efficiency and profit framework on
Hmm.
those principles. Can we dive into that to start off with?
Yeah, of course. I think when I read the book, I wasn't quite as open minded as I probably am now. But I'm now a firm believer that with mindset, you can change anything really. With the side of the smoking side, never believed that I could ever stop and always believed that I was giving something up. The book changed that and made it believe that you were stopping something, something that if you didn't do it, you wasn't going to miss. So it really kind of changed the way that I thought about things. And I didn't realize over time, before I even created my framework, I took that mindset into my future. I'd used it with every job that I'd done, every business I worked with, and I've worked with hundreds of business owners, and try to create that in other business owners. If they believe a little bit, change their mindset that things can change, and we can do that. And I also think a lot with mindset, a lot of it's habit. With things like the smoking, it is a lot of it's habit. And the same as business owners in the background, a lot of the things that they do, their processes, the ability to not change, it's just a habit. We get into these things without realizing. And it's just a day to day thing that we can change. So I do try and work on that with business owners.
And the book was called, just so anyone out there who's got a fag in the mouth now thinking, I need to pack this up.
It's Alan Carr, and it's not the chatty man either.
No.
It's the book.
Okay. The easy way to.
The Easy Way to Give Up Smoking, I think it was called. Yeah. It was quite
Excellent.
a while ago now.
I read the same book. Yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
And I don't smoke.
It's
So
so weird as you're reading it, you just think this is never going to work. And
yeah.
by the end, never touched one again, never wanted one, never craved one. Amazing.
I think like mindset, obviously, I mean, I have read lots of personal development over the years.
Mm.
And as I've got a little bit older, I like it. I think positive thinking is really, really helpful. I interviewed a lady this week for the show, and she told me that she was in a networking event, and basically someone's come up and said, I'm manifesting, I'm writing my gratitude list, I've got the right crystals in my bra. That's what was said, but my business isn't working.
Mm.
And it's like I think that's really helpful to have a positive mindset, but I think sometimes it skirts over the fact that you actually need to really get in there and work your stones off as well.
Yeah.
And you've got to have an idea that's viable, because you can be really. I think it's Tony Robbins who says you can look in your garden and go, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. If you don't go out there with a fly mower regularly, you are going to have a garden overgrown with weeds.
Yeah.
So how do you sort of get people into the mindset? Yes, there's a mindset shift that is needed with lots of directors, lots of business owners, but how do you get them to know whether they're actually focusing on they've got the right business?
Well, that was why I created the efficiency and profit framework, because with my mindset and with my positivity that I do bring, which I do love to bring that to people, I have quite a few clients that will say to me, I love it when you come round because you make us feel like it's possible. So with the framework, what it does is it brings the structure. It brings the accountability. So not only do you get me kind of pushing you on, it has a step-by-step program. We can work through things. They know where they're going. They know where they need to go. So it's not just all kind of fluffy nonsense
Mhm.
and crystals kind of hanging around.
Do you
It,
use the crystals? You haven't got any crystals in your bra today, have you?
I haven't, no, but I'll
Okay.
be honest with you, I do actually have some crystals that I've kind of gained over the years for odd reasons. I had a client of mine who had a shop and she gave me a crystal and just pick one. I picked one. It turned out to be something that I actually needed at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And it led me to a little bit of belief, but I wouldn't say that I
You wouldn't build your business on it.
certainly not. No,
Okay.
I've built my business on the framework. But yeah, so that's why I built it. I feel like with me personally and my belief and my mindset and my framework, it brings a bit of the magician and it also brings a bit of the ruler as well. So I
Okay.
can bring the accountability and I bring the structure. I'm very structured. I like to have systems in place. I love spreadsheets, but I can bring that along with the positivity and the changing mindset.
because that's quite, you don't, I don't, because fundamentally, I mean, push back on me, you would fit in the accountant framework, perhaps, if some, if you, I'll tell you what, here's a better question. Explain to me what you do.
Well, I'm actually a business advisor with an
Okay.
accountancy practice.
Okay.
I've worked in accounts nearly 30 years. It's all something I always wanted to do. I love maths, I loved algebra. Probably couldn't do it anymore now,
Yeah.
but at school, that was what I loved. To me, it was black and white. It was right or it was wrong. I like the way that it just works. Numbers, I can just totally understand them. So yes, I was an accountant. I now have a practice with a team that do all the day-to-day bits and pieces. I do more the strategy, working with businesses to help them grow.
Okay. So you're much more than an accountant, right? We're going to get into that, right? But very, I mean, I deal with accountants a lot,
Mm,
a heck of a lot, and I don't label many of them positive. They are by their very nature very, very pessimistic, and almost, if you was to talk positive thinking with some of them,
mm,
they would look at, because I'm a positive guy. And when I'm trying to, obviously, in my world, I will get problems, and the first thing that we try and do is how do we help this business avoid insolvency? And that's what a
yeah.
good insolvency guy will do. And sometimes, yes, we've got to look at the facts, but we've got to go, well, is there a bit of hope here?
Mm,
And I can just see an accountants' faces change when I start to go, well, what's possible here? Do you think, because they're just looking at that
yeah.
profit and loss from the last 3 months? So it's quite unique that you've got.
Mm.
I mean, we'll get into how you become an accountant. I think that's probably, go on. Tell us a story of the all them years in accountants.
Um, I've worked. I'm like my first job. I think I was about 17 in a charity, an environmental charity. So it got me right into recycling as well. I'm a bit of an avid recycler. I can't throw nothing away. And I loved it. But I worked with an amazing woman who taught me the ropes of being a good accountant.
Hmm.
Just all the little things about if there's people from the board in, you look smart, even if you're not in the meeting. All just the professionalism of the actual place and doing it. But she also taught me how to make sure that we make it easier for people. So where I was working in a team, people who weren't accountants, she taught me how to explain things in non-accountant terms. So for instance, the graphic designers in the business, I could go and speak to them easily about expenses or their projects they was on, work in progress easily, and they understood it rather than just being that jargon that you kind of switch off and glaze over from. So, and from there, I just worked in various companies. I didn't have many accountancy jobs. I'm very much a stickler. Once I was in a job, I made it work and I stayed to the point where I think I had one job, I literally streamlined it so much I had 2 weeks of the month, I had nothing to do. So it was time to move on from there. And then I went to the next business, same as what I do now for my clients. I always made the systems better, always made it streamlined. I improved the whole I used to manage teams. I remember working for a team that was quite disorganized, and by the time I left, it was an amazing team.
Hmm.
They were brilliant, and the manager there, the finance director there at the time, said to me, "We're really going to miss you." So we've never had the team working so well, and I'm really proud of that.
Hmm.
I like to bring that in. The lady that I was working with, I showed her how to correct her work and how to check her work. I said, rather than giving it me to check and me telling you what's wrong, I showed her how to check her own work so that she then had pride in her job. She would literally jump up and down at the end of each month when she had everything right.
Mm.
And I like that. I want people to have pride in their job. It's what makes a good team. And it's also what makes a good business. So now I now put that into business owners and I try to show them how to do that as well.
You, you said something then that really resonated with me. So, like in the insolvency world, your stereotypical insolvency practitioner,
Mm,
um, they will turn up at a meeting, suit and tie, you know, and they will spout the Insolvency Act at a director who's at his wits'
mm,
end.
yep.
And it's so unhelpful. Like what we do is same situation. We'll turn up. It's the same distressing situation.
Mm,
It's actually probably the same outcome, but instead of spouting an Insolvency Act, what Section 216 is, misfeasance claims, but and that they have no idea what it is. We go,
mm,
right, listen, this is the problem, and this is the outcome in plain English.
mm,
And it helps them get prepared.
yeah.
Because I see accountants do the same thing. It's
Mm,
like, I think that's the reason why certain types of business people don't like talking to accountants, because they get made to feel like they're an idiot.
Yes.
So I think that's a really key thing for you. That
Yeah.
it's very very interesting. Um, Now we've sort of covered the accountancy history. Really interesting bit is you've moved into, as you say, business advisory. Tell us about that journey.
So I've always kind of done it for free for my clients. So, you get a new client come on, you go to their office and you go, "Oh, I can help you. I can streamline this. We can increase your profits." And as we was doing it, but what I found was a lot of the time clients didn't want that. They wanted compliance. They just wanted you to tick a box, get out, and don't charge any extra money. So I done a certification, which built my framework for me, which is great. So rather than just saying, "Oh, I can help you get better profits or better cash flow," I built a framework. So now I can actually show people exactly what I do. And for me, this now, I find clients who come to me want that service rather than me trying to push on to people, "Please let me help you,"
Hmm.
which it kind of felt like sometimes. I now have people coming to me asking them to help me instead. And it's great because then you're working with people that want the change. They want to make things better, not the people that just want to stay the same, not earn any extra and keep themselves under a tax bracket. They want to build a real business.
Hmm.
So that's the difference for me venturing out and not just being the accountant anymore. It's just working with different clientele, I think, with different mindsets and different futures that they want to get for their outcomes.
And I think you start to attract the
Mm,
right people.
yeah.
You know, when you're really clear. I mean, I share this regularly. I remember, like in the early days, I would get in my car to drive down south from up north to sign a liquidation job
Mm,
that made us net a few £100. And I was so happy at doing that. I was like, I was just desperate for the work. And they got to a point in our business where, because we talked about it,
yeah.
I'm a control freak. Okay. I might not be the only one on the show who is,
No, maybe not.
but like I'm in everything at work, and like there's little jobs, and it got to the point where somebody said to me, says, "Chris, you're the biggest bottleneck in this business.
Mm,
Stop it." They might not do it like you do it. I sound really big at it, but they do it good enough. They
yeah.
do it good enough, and what it did is it made way. Because I was dead scared at first. I remember ringing someone and going, I haven't got much to do at the moment, and
Mm,
it's really making me nervous. And then out of nowhere, we just started to create these really interesting, time-consuming jobs.
mm,
If I'd have chasing the little jobs still,
no.
I would have never had that. Have you been? You must have got to the point where you've had to go. Certain clients, you're not for me anymore, or you're talking to them.
Yeah.
How was that journey, sort of getting your ideal client?
We have, and we had a full-time member of staff come on this year, and that was a bit of a change because we found some clients were taking a lot of time, but also we found that the clients who took a lot of time and maybe didn't appreciate us, when you get that, "Oh, you charge too much," or they're not seeing the value for what you can give. So we did have a little process at the beginning of this year where we kind of sat down with clients. If they don't engage with us, kind of you'll send a message, they don't respond, you go, "Can we have a meet up?" Never book up. You kind of get to the point of going, they just want an accountant again to tick a box. So we've done quite a few disengagements this year. We've now got all the clients in the books that make us smile. We make them smile. We have great relationships. We're always on the phone to them if they got a quick question. We do have a WhatsApp system, which our clients love. They just drop a quick question and you get
Mm.
back to them, rather than having to have that formal meeting all the time and things like that, which sometimes can be not what people want. If they do, the diary is always there for them as well. But yeah, no, I've found since we've changed the business this month to a new business name and a new package, which involves the advisory for all our clients that are coming in are completely different. All the leads that are coming in are people that want to grow their business. So it's amazing how just from us understanding what we want to provide,
Mhm.
the leads are changed all of a sudden. We haven't got the standard compliance. Can you just do a tax return and never speak to me again? Kind of clients that phone up. So, and it does. And I think once you're really clear, which we work with on our clients as well on part of the framework, when you're really clear of what you want and who you want to work with, the people out in the world all of a sudden seem to understand as well.
Mm.
And it does change.
So this show will be going out when you have rebranded.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us who the new business is.
The new business is profit and growth accountants.
Okay.
Yes.
So, profit and growth accountants, what's the service that you give to people? We talk about it's just advisory because there are people watching and listening to this
Mm.
that have no idea what you offer. And
Yes.
that's one of the biggest problems that I see is they believe either they believe an accountant does P&Ls, balance sheets, cash flows as part of their compliance,
Yep.
which they don't, or they just think they do accounts.
Mm.
And there's so much misconception out there about what you can actually. I mean, let's stop calling it accountants from a finance function.
Yeah.
I think that's a better term.
Yes.
Can you outline what your service is now and how that can benefit that person who's watching?
Yeah, of course. And I think you just hit the nail on the head. We have called it a complete finance department. So that always sounds big terms, even if you're a one-man band, we can still be a complete finance department. That's from your day-to-day, from your VATs, your payroll, anything you need from the compliance terms. But what we also include is alongside everything that we do, we run the profit efficiency and profit framework. So we'll constantly be looking at ways to make your business more efficient. We'll be looking at ways to save money. And depending on the frequency that you have your service. So what we've done is we made every package the same. Everyone gets the strategy, the framework and the compliance. You can have it annually, monthly, or quarterly. And within that, you get strategy meetings with us. We look at your future, where you want your business to go. And we do what we call awareness, which looks at your business exactly where it is now with real figures. And then we plug the gap and we find out how we're going to get to where you want to be.
I always feel that a lot of business owners are scared of that awareness piece.
Yes, it's a really big thing when I say to people, right, let's do a review on your figures. That, oh no, they'd rather go straight into advisory looking at where they want to be.
Yeah.
But we don't ever take anybody on without looking at the actual figures, especially if we don't do the accounts for them, because I can't advise, I can't help if I don't actually know.
Mhm.
And I always do have a saying awareness is the beginning of transformation.
Mm.
Until you know where you are, you can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
You can dream, you can have all the mindset, all the positivity in the world. Unless you know where you are now, there's a really big step there that
Mm.
you probably can't make.
Because you don't know the problem, do you?
No,
And if you don't know the problem,
no,
it doesn't matter what the solution is. Yeah,
no.
I completely understand that. So, listen, if I was ringing you and said, Nicola, right, I'm interested in this service. What do we do? Day one, week one. Where are we looking? What are we trying to plot out?
The first thing we'd do would be the review. We look at your figures, see where you are now, and then we'd have a 90-minute review from that. So we'd sit down together, go through the figures, work out where you want to be, and also then just look at where you can afford. So if you want the monthly or quarterly, but it's always a first strategy review meeting. I look at your numbers, so then together we review them, we run over them, work out exactly where you are, so that when you're clear, then you know your next steps. We don't tie anybody in the contract. You might have that 90-minute review meeting, walk away and go, do you know what? I think I know how to fix this myself. That's fine.
Hmm.
I'm not someone who's going to say, oh, we have to tie you in for 6 months or a year first.
Hmm.
Because sometimes the 90 minutes is enough for people. And then sometimes they come back and they say, oh, no, we'd want to sign up. We want to do monthly and we really want to get this sorted. So it also depends on people's time frames, and people's purse strings, really. Depends. Everyone's in a different position, aren't they, really? So,
I think also one thing I've learned is if so, we'll give anyone half an hour free and half an hour,
mm,
and really build some goodwill.
yeah,
And the amount of people that they're not really our client, that there's no job there, but we will give them that time. And we've had people ring us and it's like, where have you found us? Oh, you helped Doris.
yeah,
So we'll have a look on the CRM. We're thinking, we spoke to Doris in 2019,
mm,
but that you've given them a good experience. I mean, there's levels to it.
mm,
Sometimes you've got to say to people, say, listen, this is the third hour you've had this week. We
yeah,
can't help you anymore. But
yeah,
um, when it comes to client red flags, because
mm,
there'll be people here, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think we all go through that period like every customer is a good customer,
mm.
okay? Until we find out that it isn't. We spoke about it downstairs. What are the red flags for you with a customer that makes you think, uh-uh?
There's, from an accounting point of view, there's always that one. Do you work for us or for HMRC? And you have to say, there shouldn't be any difference.
Hmm.
We're not here to work for HMRC. We're here to make sure that your tax is correct. that to me straight away says you're hiding something that HMRC doesn't want to see.
Yeah.
From an advisory point of view, is when just trust me, I know the numbers are right, and it's like, well, I don't. From my own personal point of view, and part of being a control freak, I don't want to give any advice out without knowing what is right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So there's kind of two red flags there. But we've had some clients before who don't want to give bank statements. So we always take bank statements, one for our AML processes.
Got to be compliant, haven't we? That anti-money laundering. There's all sorts of
Yeah.
governance that's hanging
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Yeah, so there's so much we have to comply with now. We do always look at people's bank statements. At the end of the day, there shouldn't be anything that we can't look at. So as soon as we get the back from that, people are kind of like, "Oh no, can I just send you over the figures?" Again, that's straight away a red flag for us as well.
Do you ever get people ringing you with basically chat GPT? I'm getting this all the time. Well, not all the time, it's an exaggeration, but I'm getting the last few weeks I've had people ringing me. They don't want advice. They are telling me what they should do based on a conversation with chat GPT. And I'm like, I said, why have you rang me? He says, well, this is what I want to do. I says, it's nonsense. I says, that is fundamentally wrong.
Yeah,
He said, well, I said, I don't care what chat GPT has said.
yeah.
Are you finding that yet?
I have. So we had a client last year. We completed their year-end accounts. It was a property developer, and they'd run the figures through ChatGPT and what to ask the accountant, and they come back with a lot of questions from ChatGPT, which we'd already answered on the call. And some of the questions were just absolute nonsense, nothing to do with property,
Hmm.
nothing to do with the taxes that we was doing at all. And then that classic thing when they leave the bit of ChatGPT at the bottom as well. So
Yeah,
that was one of the clients we did disengage with. Just because, I'd rather someone, if they've got any queries, just pick up the phone and ask us. We
yeah.
always offer a call to go over your numbers. When people decline and then go to ChatGPT, again, it's having people that trust and want to work with you and value you.
Hmm.
You can't work with people that are kind of going to ChatGPT rather than just asking you a simple question. So,
And I think that what you've said previously is actually helping someone understand
yeah,
in real terms what them numbers mean.
yeah,
And again, that idea of an accountant talking in accountancy term can
mm,
can really scare some people off. So
yeah,
yeah, and again, we've got to do it ourselves. One of the things I've heard you say is you're not broken, your business is. And I don't know where I found that somewhere online. But what is the most common breakage you're seeing in people's businesses? What's the one problem that you see more regularly?
the majority is no time. People do not have time to just finish what they're doing. We all start our job with a passion. We've got something we want to give someone,
Yeah.
whether you're selling something, your service, anything. We all started our jobs and our businesses for a reason.
Mhm.
And then what happens is you didn't realize that there's going to be marketing, there's going to be finance, there's going to be taxes, there's going to be money worries, the sales go up and down. And I think gradually people just get more and more overwhelmed. And sometimes, it can lead to embarrassment. People come up, people go, "How's your business?" "Oh, yeah, it's doing great." And they're not, they're at home basically sitting there, kind of go, "I have no time to do the client work." And that's where my framework comes in because we start from the back of the office. We start from working and sorting all them admin problems out, making sure your finances are correct before you go out and get more sales. Because sometimes you can get more sales because you think your business is going down.
Mhm.
There's more clients to look after. It's more work you need to, time you need to find. So that's always the main priority is time, and that's why I always try and give back to people straight away.
I did a job, and she won't mind me saying this. I interviewed her on YouTube. She was a TikTok shop
Mm,
lady. She went viral overnight, like incredible amounts of sales,
mm,
and it killed the business
yeah,
because they went from like here, I forget the numbers, from here to here,
yep,
and then they had to employ the staff. They had to increase the production, and it was the worst thing that could have
yeah.
happened, you know.
It's
And
that constant overwhelm. All of a sudden, you've got to deliver.
mm,
The more clients you got, the more customers. All it takes is one or two not very good clients that take all your time, take your energy, take your mental space away as well.
mm.
So when you're not on top of things like who owes you money, who do you owe money to, all that is taking up your mental space to do the job right. So that's why we try and relieve all that in the back office, just to give people that more time, either to have time off or to do the job right that they started to do.
Well, I think that's important, isn't it? We've not touched on that. It's like we've both got families.
Mm,
I've had it at times where our business is so good,
Mm.
okay, I can't stop thinking about it, and I'm awake. It's waking me up in the morning,
Yep.
and you know what? I can't. Sometimes I can't wait to get to work. Where it's a problem though, is it's Saturday morning, and what I would do is I'd think, right, I'm gonna get up at about 6:30, and I'm gonna do a little bit of work.
Mm.
But the problem is I can't switch from work Chris to dad Chris.
Mm.
So I will open that laptop and work for say 2 hours, and then by the time the kids have come in, I'm consumed, and
Yeah.
it's not fun.
No.
You know, it's not fun at all. What advice would you be giving to a director out there who is overwhelmed? Not necessarily a problem in business.
Mm.
Business is good. Business is good. Business is bad. There's problems with both.
Yeah.
What would you be saying to them to try and set some boundaries?
I think boundaries is really important, client boundaries and obviously family boundaries. I've actually just done a podcast on this on time management about setting golden hours. So if there's things that you need to do that takes an hour or so, is to make sure you have that time uninterrupted.
You do them in the mornings, don't you?
You can do them in the morning or you can do them any time that suits you. Find what time suits you. For me, 5 a.m. till 6 is brilliant. My son's asleep. I can get so much done. Other
Hmm.
people are evening people. And the reason you do this is that the weekend you don't have to quickly work to do that uninterrupted job so that no one's emailing you or messaging you.
Hmm.
Because I used to do the same. I could go up early on a Sunday morning, everyone's still in bed, a couple of hours, but same thing, you come in, you've started working now, your brain ticks.
Mm.
So learning about the golden hours is really good. Like Wednesdays, I don't have any meetings at all. I can get on with the business and I can know that I haven't got to be interrupted anywhere.
Hmm.
So it's really important if you've got these little jobs that you're doing at the weekend to make time for them in the week, block some time out, even if it's 2 hours. Turn your phone off or turn your emails off and make sure you get them done so you don't switch on to them at the weekend.
What are the jobs that you do in your golden hours then?
Me is usually, sounds really silly, it's the social media
Hmm.
because it's the kind of thing that I start and I can go down a rabbit hole and go, oh, I've got another idea
Hmm.
and another idea. Next thing I know, 5 hours in, I'm still writing social media or blogs.
Yeah.
So I have to set the time to go, right, I'm just going to do 2 weeks or I'm just going to do this week's, do it and walk away.
Walk us through analyze, optimize, achieve.
Okay, so that's the milestones of my framework. So analyze is the beginning. That's awareness and control. So that's where we start. We look at your business, we look at your profit and loss, cash flow. We analyze where you are right now. We look at the business, we find out what could possibly be wrong, try and find any problems. You then have optimize, which is implementation and transformation. That's my really fun place that I like to be. That's where we start finding solutions for things that are wrong. We start looking at systems, and everyone always kind of like, oh, not a system,
Mm.
but it can change your life. And we look for quick wins. There's always something that we can quickly do to turn things around.
Give us some examples.
Okay, little things like email ping pong. I had a client said the other day, literally lost a whole damn emails. I said, just have 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, reply to as many emails as you can, close it down and walk away. And she said the hours she's got back in her.
Ooh, I mean, I love that idea, but
Because what
the
happens,
fear in me, yeah,
because what happens is you'll reply to a client, go to move on, and they reply quickly.
yeah.
Next, 3 hours later, you're doing ping pong
Mm.
imo. If you leave
It's a
it,
problem. It's a problem
it
for
is a
me.
problem. So in the morning, we only reply to emails from the afternoon, and in the afternoon, we reply from emails from the morning. Clients are still getting responses to us a day, but we're not losing hours and hours of time. So little things like that. Yes, it is hard to
You can see
implement.
my face, can't you?
Yeah.
I'm like really
Close that
comfortable
browser
with it
down,
there.
move on and get on with some work. But little
Okay.
things like that, because you can lose a whole day doing emails.
Mm.
Because someone replies straight away, they're sitting at home going, this is great.
Yeah.
Someone's responding straight away, I'm going to come back instantly.
Mm.
Yeah, it can work. And
I
sometimes
might try that.
it,
My
it,
my.
it can work, it really can.
What else? Give us a couple more.
Oh goodness, putting me on the spot now. I think another quick win can really be client boundaries. I've worked with lots of clients who respond to clients day and night. Just by letting clients know, going, look, if unless it's urgent, book a call with us if it is. We've always got our diary open, for instance.
Hmm.
If it's not, we will get back to you between 9 to 5, and generally it's within 24 hours.
Hmm.
And just by setting that boundary, it gets the pressure out of your head. So if
Mm.
someone WhatsApp you or emails you, you haven't got that pressure to go, oh, I must respond. And it
Yeah,
doesn't sit
the
there all day going,
fear.
oh my goodness. And you feel tense all day knowing you haven't responded. You go, it's okay. I can leave that till tomorrow. And it takes away the pressure. But also now your client knows the boundaries. So they're not sitting there going, oh, they usually reply to me within 10 minutes. Where are they?
Hmm.
Getting angry emails back. So by having clear client boundaries or customer boundaries, really takes a lot of stress off of your shoulders.
You know, when you make suggestions at the optimized stage, I
Mm,
mean, like you've just made one to me, and it's a really good suggestion.
good.
And my immediate reaction was, yeah, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
How much pushback do you get at that? And I'm going to give it a go, right?
Yeah.
But how much pushback do you get when you get to optimize and like you bring in ideas?
You do get pushback. I do try and in the optimized phase, I feel like I'm very optimistic myself. And I always just say to people, look, just try it for one day. If it really
What's the
doesn't sit
worst that
with
can
you,
happen?
that's exactly. But I think or just say try it for 3.5 hours throughout the day, 4.5 hours throughout the day.
Hmm.
Start bigger and then reduce it down. So you don't have to go all in like we do at the moment, which is twice a day. You could start 4 times a day. Set a little reminder for yourself and
Mm.
start small until you go, actually, the world didn't end. It actually felt really nice. I'm going for it.
I think that it's that catastrophic thinking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and I can really I suffer with that,
Mm,
like I joke about it, but before I got savvy with the finances,
mm,
like I'd have one weekend every month or two where I'm panicking like mad, thinking we're going to end up in a skip. Me
yeah.
and the kids, like it's all going to end, and it boiled down to I didn't understand my numbers.
Yeah.
It was really embarrassing, but it was like, hey, we're bringing in about that. Our costs are about that. We're okay,
Yeah.
and it was through pain and losing
Mm,
weekends that I actually go, something's got to change here.
yeah.
And I think that was the difference between I had the transformation of compliance and advisory because like literally my accountant was a compliance accountant.
Yeah.
He's a great guy,
Yeah.
but they didn't. I actually said, can you do me some monthly management accounts? So he said, well, I can do them quarterly. That wasn't good enough for us,
No. And
So,
it's not when you've got a family and you're taking money home, you want to make sure you're not taking too much money. Do you need more money? And let's be honest, we don't all work just to survive.
mhm,
We want to take money out of the business to buy a holiday,
yeah,
to treat our kids and go out for the day, not to go, right, we've paid the bills, stop.
yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we might as well go, otherwise, it is a really expensive job, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing that when I speak to some directors and, they've got huge problems in the business and there were a number of options, continue to trade, fight
Mm,
the way through it, um, go through an insolvency process to rescue the company
mm,
and essentially start again in most cases. But when you go through them, you're like, listen, if you go through this, it's called a pre-pack, you put business into admin, you buy it out.
mm,
What needs to change for this to be profitable? And it's like, when you sort of go into it and go, listen, you're going to be working
mm.
for minimum wage.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to do that?
Most directors are less than minimum wage.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met so many that take home the 12,500 and that's about it. They always promise themselves they'll take more and they don't.
Why do you think they do it? I mean,
Because they're trying to make the business successful. And that's what's heartbreaking is that they want the business to be successful, but they're doing it at the cost of themselves.
well, people. This is something that bothers me a little bit. People go, "Oh, well, it's my first year of business. I'm not meant to make money." Well, you
Yeah.
bloody well are. You are.
It's usually actually your first year is usually the best because you take on every client that you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
find. You take all the money you can find before you get fussy.
But yeah, it's like these stuff that you know they hear down the pub, and I want to ask you a question. If there were three numbers to track in your business
Mm.
every single month, what would they be?
For me, one would be your gross margin.
Okay,
So that
explain that to me for an idiot.
I was just going to. So what that is, that's your costs of whatever you sell taken off of the income of whatever you've sold.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, say for instance, you get a job, you comes in, you go, oh, materials will be about 500. I'm going to cost it 50%. I'm going to charge the client £1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you actually come around to doing the accounts, from the accountant's point of view, there might be other costs in there, delivery, there might have been something went wrong. And what happens is a lot of the time, the actual margin is totally different to what you're costing. So when we come to do the accounts, it might only be 30%. You've only been adding on 50%. So you're losing 20% there straight away. That's a complete profit leak. You've no idea where your money goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why what comes in the bank looks totally different to what you thought you was getting.
Mm-hmm.
So that one we do try and work with quite a lot. And then the next one I think would probably be your debtors, which is what people owe you for money. So you
Hmm.
want to make sure that they're always clear. There's so many ways now to get people to pay instantly, either on your phone, pay now buttons, all this software now. You can do an invoice on your phone with a pay now button. You don't even leave the house until they pay, if you're around someone's house. Um, and you want to make sure that's always clear. You don't want to be like in our business, we do everything by direct debit. We don't have to spend time on our business chasing clients for money,
Hmm.
which I like because that gives us more time to spend on our own clients' figures. And I think the third one would probably be the overheads, which is we do a lot with the framework. We look through the efficiency of your overheads where you're just wasting money, wages and things like that. Or even, I'm like, we had one company that spent a lot of money on a Google ads, but they wasn't sure if there's actually getting the return on the income.
Hmm.
So really having a dive into your overheads and just making sure that everything goes to like sundry expenses, which happens a lot when people are doing their own bookkeeping. It all just kind of gets plugged in the same place.
I mean, can we talk about people doing their own bookkeeping?
Oh,
Because
don't.
honest, I don't know why trading standards have not said to Zero on QuickBooks going, what
It's
you're
infuriating.
saying is not right because
No?
it's made out that you just need to pay whatever it is, £25 a month,
Yeah.
and you don't need an accountant.
No, I know. And they go out there and go, did you know your accountant does everything automatically and you could be doing that yourself? And you go, we don't.
Yeah.
We still actually, okay, we have systems that help and do things. We still have to check things through and do it right. We actually had one client who come to us just for the year end accounts, that compliance tick boxing again, done his own bookkeeping, calculated how much tax he had to pay. He'd been putting his dividends through the
Hmm.
profit and loss. And just for those that don't know, dividends don't go for your profit and loss. So say like you got £50,000 profit, you can take that as dividends,
Hmm.
but it doesn't reduce your profit. You still pay tax on the full 50,000,
Hmm.
for instance. And he'd put it through, assumed that he had no tax to pay. So that was a bit of a bite on the bum for him, to be honest. And he wasn't very happy with us. Like it was our fault.
Definitely your fault.
It was
Yeah.
definitely our fault, because Zero had put it there and he'd just done what the system had told. So we do generally in our business, we always do the bookkeeping
Hmm.
because we can't make any accurate assumptions, especially now we do the advisory as well. For us, it needs to be accurate. If it's not accurate, it's an absolute waste of time. Simple as that.
If you are, if you've got a big decision that you need to make, whether it's personal or business, what is your process for making that decision? Is there any type of rituals you will do? Is there any, how will you clear that mental space to sort of get in the place where you can make?
For me personally,
Hmm.
it'd always be a Wednesday when I have no meetings,
Okay.
and it will involve a whiteboard.
Right.
I love a
I
whiteboard,
love a
and
whiteboard.
I have to have all different colour pens.
Yeah.
They all mean something. The orange pen's always what I need to do.
Yeah.
The pink pen's my team leader. Yeah, I have to have a whiteboard enough to plan things out, map it, look at if this happens, that goes that way, this happens, and I can just sit there all day really, on a whiteboard. But I do most things on that, and once it's confirmed, then I'll put it into writing somewhere.
What's the biggest mistake that you've ever made in business where you've gone for it and gone, didn't work out?
I think one of the biggest mistakes probably would probably be outsourcing to the wrong people.
Hmm.
So when I first started, I was doing all the work myself, built up the business lovely, had nearly 100 clients, and I was at a kind of bit of a breaking point. What do I do? So I outsourced, and it wasn't the right people. And so I brought it back in house, and that's why I now have a full-time member of staff that I can manage. She's actually my sister, so
Hmm.
I can completely trust
I
her as
work
well.
with my brother.
Yeah. It's brilliant because I know I can completely trust her,
Yeah,
and I know
same
the
here.
passion in the business is the same as mine. So for me, that's quite a big learning curve. Are you kind of assume when you outsource that people have the same values as you?
Hmm.
When someone outsources to me, I do the work as well as I would for my own clients.
Hmm.
And when I outsource to someone else, they didn't have that. What do you call it? They didn't have the values I think that I had. They didn't care if things were right. They just done what Zero done, post, post, post. They didn't check things and things like that.
So it was like they didn't have that advisory capacity.
Yeah,
I get it.
maybe.
We're told, it's been very popular, hasn't it, in the last few
Yes.
years? Outsource everything,
Mm,
outsource everything, outsource everything. But you've got to be able to check what's going on, haven't you? And,
yeah.
and I've made that mistake before where
Mm,
I just assume something's going okay because I don't have a problem.
mm.
And then the cracks start to appear and you're like, shit,
Yes.
how long has this been going
Mm.
on?
Don't get me wrong, I do have some ladies I do outsource to, and they are brilliant. We've found our feet now, but I think the first lot I don't think but the first lot I outsourced to taught me a big lesson. It's
Mm.
like, right, next time I'm gonna make sure they're the right people. So
When you sort of get into a business and like you know you're doing that deep dive with a view to this is your 90-day roadmap, what are some of the problems that pop out, some truths about a business that the director doesn't want to hear?
I think a lot of the time it could be staffing. I've worked with quite a few people. I did actually work with one company. It had nearly 10 extra staff than they needed, just because one, they didn't want to get rid of someone. And so rather than telling them they wasn't very good at the job, they then got someone else in to do the rest of the job. And it kind of went on that way. They ended up with nearly 10 extra staff because it was all manual in the business. But again, it was habit. We'll just get someone else to do that. Someone goes, oh, I don't want to do that. Right, we'll get someone else in to do that. And so it was a little bit of a, the directors didn't want to hear that it was actually the way they was running the business. The staff were actually running the business and telling them what they refused to do. And rather than them dealing with it, they was just getting somebody else in to do the bits that other people didn't want to do. So that was quite a difficult conversation. But it sounds a bit strange, but I'm not a yes man.
I get that. I get that.
But I can't help people fix your business if I am. You know, I can't sit there and say, oh, yeah, yeah, that's all fine. You have to kind of go, right, this is going to be tough, but
I get
I
it.
need to tell you.
I get
Yeah,
it. But listen, my it's exactly the same in mine. Like
yeah,
I'm really gentle with some people, and
yeah.
just like because they're vulnerable, but sometimes I have to go. Listen, you have to pull your head out your arse here.
Mm,
This business is you have to do somebody, and sometimes they don't want to hear it.
no.
They do not want to hear it, and they will fight, and they'll go like, I'm like, listen, if you give me some data
Mm,
to tell me I'm wrong, to give me some blue sky with a bit of substance, and I'll change my mind. But and it you've got to be quite strong in your conviction, haven't you?
yeah, yeah, definitely. But I think when I say I'm not a yes man, I also do bring the positive side. If there's bad news, I will always take in a solution. Look, this needs to happen, and this is the reason why. But I've had a good think about it.
Is that a reverse shit sandwich?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Deconstructed.
Um, what one of the biggest problems that I get in my industry, and
Mhm.
it totally feeds into what you do, is someone's ended up they need insolvency advice. I get a balance sheet and I can see a massive overdrawn loan account,
Yes.
and I will go to them. You know what one of those is, don't you? And I'll send them to loads of videos we've done on YouTube, and they go, "Well, my accountant's never told me." Bollocks! They've never
Mm.
told you. Can you explain to people who are listening what is an overdrawn loan account? How does it become overdrawn? And if you can tell them the problems that they face if they keep trading, I'll tell them the problems with an overdrawn loan account if they end up closing the business.
Okay, so first of all, a director's loan account is where the business either owes you money or you owe the business money. Generally, when you start a business, you might put some money in, 10 grand, not overdrawn, looking good, the company owes you money. What happens is when you take that money out and you continue to take the money out more than what it owes you. A lot of the time I see this happen when people use the business as their own pocket money.
Hmm.
A lot of the time it's personal expenses. They go out, they use the card, they use the bank all the time, thinking it's going through the business. And we send a monthly report to all our directors showing what we've put through. This clearly isn't a business expense, for instance, Ryanair and things like that. And they try and claim sometimes that it is business. It's like, I don't think it is. So what happens is gradually it drip feeds into the director's loan. Once you go over £10,000, you have to start paying interest on it if you don't pay it back. And what happens is a lot of the time I find people, they don't understand it. It's not the easiest concept sometimes. As an accountant, to us, it is simple. You took money out of the business, but in other people's eyes, especially when they've been a sole trader and moved to director,
Hmm.
they see it as it's my business, it's my money. So I think when you're setting up a limited company, you need to be really clear. This business and the money that's in it isn't yours anymore. You're completely different entities. Um, but when it gets overdrawn and it does become a problem, I do find when it gets to a certain extent, directors do just bury their heads in the sand because they don't want to contemplate paying it back anymore. They always then think that the profit's going to come to pay it off with with the dividends. Then that doesn't come. Then you get further and further into it. And this is exactly where we need to pick up on overdrawn directors' loans. On the first year or second year, you need to start getting a business advisor. Your business isn't working, you need to turn it around
Mm.
because it's just going to get worse and worse. And I think the solution is again, be aware of it. Don't just say you don't know about it. You know if you're taking money out of your business. Transfers £1,000 here and there, you know that it's coming out. You know if you're making a profit, and if you don't, as a director, find out.
That's the problem, though. Some of them don't.
Yeah,
They don't have any system,
no,
some basic management information to know that, like, I've made money this month, or
yeah.
and if you're not making money, where are you losing money? But do you think a lot of it is like people have really extravagant lifestyles?
Yes, and they think the company should pay for it.
Mm.
And like I say, the majority of the time, it is just people paying for things, a kitchen or a new bathroom through the company. It's like, well, that's got to go somewhere, you know. But it is a problem. But I'm a little bit of a believer that I think they should make it so easy for people to open a company. Anybody can go out there, they open a limited company, they start trading. They don't tell anybody what their liabilities are. They don't tell them how to run a company. They don't say, right, you must go on this hours course to find out what you need to know.
It's an interesting point.
These people go off for 18 months, all of a sudden get a red letter and go, oh,
Shit.
exactly that. And go, what do you mean I owe money? And I know it's an easy concept. You make money, you have to pay tax. That is quite an easy
Mm.
concept. But I do believe a lot of people get caught up in running a business. They're struggling, they're treading water. And before you know it, the 18 months have gone. You're now down shit creek.
And
You
you're
haven't,
speaking to someone like me.
yeah, exactly. And like we get quite a few people come to us, going, oh my God, my accounts are overdue. And have you got any paper? No, we've not saved nothing.
Mm.
And I do try and start with startups. I do try and work with startups because I want to get people off on the right foot.
Get them into good
I
habits.
really
Yeah.
do. And I love it, when people then are successful and they're like, oh my God, everything's working for them. They don't have that dread or that fear. They know where they're going. But I think that's the biggest problem directors loan is the lack of awareness. They just don't know and they don't even know where to start. And I think they know that the business isn't doing well. So that, like you say, they bury their heads in the sand and don't want to find out.
Because if they end up in insolvency, the director's loan's payable, and that's a big
And I
problem.
don't think people know that.
They don't.
I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, I've got a loan in it. It's fine. Well, it was a a sole director.
Yeah.
You're liable." What do you mean? It's the business.
No.
No, no,
And
no.
that's where people can lose their houses.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to end this on a really positive note,
Yes.
because I have been that blind director who was just driving in the dark,
Mm.
really. And with the right advice, the right education, and more importantly, the right team around you,
Yeah.
you could there's if fundamentally there's a good business there that's
Mm.
profitable, you can turn this stuff around, can't you? But you can't, what's they say, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, where would be the very first place that they would go?
Well, we've got a website, which is
A new website?
we
Well, it
have
won't be
got a
new when this
new
comes
website.
out. It'll be old news then.
I so love my new
Yeah.
website. It looks so good. Obviously, I didn't make this one. That's probably why. I outsourced this. See, I learnt that time. So that's profitandgrowth.co.uk. You can find me on LinkedIn as Nicola J. Barnett. I'm down as the business fixer. And I've got my podcast, which, just for a bit of tongue in cheek, is Get Your Shift Together, the Business Fixer
Be
podcast.
careful how you say that.
I have to say it very slowly.
Last question. Last question.
Yes.
If you had to push any book into one of your clients' hands, not Stop Smoking by The Easy Way, what would be the one book that you would give someone and say, read that?
Oh my goodness, that is such a difficult question. I don't know if I've actually got an answer for you.
That's the only time that Nicola's not been able to answer today. And just a bit of context, right? I got badgered off Nicola for that. The only question I've told her about today was the first one. And I thought, I'm not messing about with this lady. And I was a little bit late getting it. It's like, Chris, you said you would give me that first question. But you know what? You've been a tremendous guest.
Thank you very much.
I've
It's been good.
really, really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, it's been
And
really good. Thank you.
thank you very, very much. We will have a show. We will ask you for show notes. So there'll be links to the new websites. There'll be links to all the giveaways that you might have available. Please, please get in touch with Nicola.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Take care.